In this one, we're off to Barlows Aquatics to pick up 2 new tanks. So I now have added 2 new tanks to my fish room. You'll be seeing them over this video, and then at this point, that's when I was painting them. They are now in place, and you'll have to wait to see what goes in those tanks. Anyway, we're going to go to Barlows. I'm going to show you the fish. I'm also going to show you the tank room, because this shop has tanks that he's built, all different sizes. And I'm also going to give you some bonus footage at the end in their warehouse where they make the tanks. So let's just get straight there. So this is Barlows Aquatics, and this is around about an hour's drive, maybe a bit less from where I live. And this is where I went to get my new tank. So what I'm going to do first, guys, is I'm going to show you all the tanks that they have in the shop that they build. So they build the tanks on site and they display them, and it's very rare you get to see this in any of the fish shops that I go to, especially in the northwest. So they've got an array of different sizes and they are good prices. I have now bought 4 tanks from this shop, and every time I've gone for the tank and the size that I wanted, it's there on display. And in that bonus footage that I show you later on, when you go into the warehouse, there is so many more tanks that they've built. Also, you buy the tank and you can buy sliders to fit separate. So you will always get sliders because they'll cut them in the shop for you that day. So yeah, lots of bargains. If you are in the northwest of England, and I know that some of you have replied on my Insta to ask me questions around this, and I know that some of you are going to order tanks from Barlows. And in my opinion and my experience, they're good tanks. They're great for fish rooms. So you know, they built really well, and yeah, honestly, guys, I would recommend, if you was having a tank done for all your fish rooms, give them a look. I'm not sure whether they deliver. That's something you would have to take up with them, but yeah, if you go to the shop, obviously, they'll help you to the car with them as well, which they did with me, obviously, the 4 times that I've bought tanks. But some real bargains, and they don't just do tanks, they do an array of aquascaping, so they've got some really, really nice wood in the shop, and I'll show you that in a minute. But like I say, lots and lots of tanks, all different shapes and sizes. Now this is, I'm just going to take you around all the dry goods, and like I said to you before, the wood and all that, but it's like an Aladdin's cave, honestly. When you go into this back area, I mean, look at the amount of wood, and that's not all of it. There's loads and loads of it all over the shop. So honestly, if you're into your aquascaping, I would highly recommend you come here, because I think it's highly likely they will have what you need. And just a big shout out to the guys at Barlows Aquatics. They made me and Joe feel really, really welcome, and they gave me the freedom of the shop and obviously the warehouse. So yeah, made up with a visit, and yeah, another custom made tanks as well. So they've got everything, guys. Honestly, they've got loads and loads and loads of stuff. There is a pond section over the back there, which I didn't actually film. I should have done, really, but I was just stuck for time. But there is a cold water pond section, which is, again, quite a big unit as well. And again, look, loads and loads of aquascaping stuff. There's just tons and tons of it. Right, so now I'm going to show you the fish that they had in the shop. So we're going to start off at this tank. And again, I do try to just concentrate on the American cichlids, because that's what I think you guys want to watch. I mean, if anybody would like to see other types of fish, just let me know in the comments. But this was a nice group of red hump geophagus, and they were quite a good size. Salvini cichlids, these were a very good price at $4.99, a decent size and decent salvinis. I really like these. These were little belters, and the owner of the shop had actually bred these himself. So a lot of the fish in the shop, he's bred them, or he uses a lot of local breeders too. But for $4.99, I don't know if you'll see Salvini cheaper than that anywhere. That is a really, really good price. But I suppose if you're breeding your own, it gives you the opportunity to put less prices on them. He was telling me that these Oscars had pretty much just been brought in that day. So a customer had turned up with 4 big Oscars asking him to take them. So obviously he is trying to get these moved on, because it's not the biggest tank in the world, but he said he was going to move them. It was just quarantine. But yeah, 4 nice Oscars there. Decent size, pretty big they were. Apparently, they were bought very small and have grown up together. Now, this is not my thing, and I said I was filming cichlids, but I really like these. These were like albino sail fins, I think they're called. I think they're self-fin plecos, and they're albinos. I'm sure they were, but they were stunning, honestly. Anyway, back to the cichlids. A breeding pair of rams. These were a decent buy, I think. The male looked really nice. You can see, the female and looked really nice, and there's the male at the back. I think there was still some young in this tank, but there was quite a lot of smaller fish, especially like BNs and stuff that he had in breeding pairs. So this section here that you can see now with the tanks across, they all had like breeding pairs of bristlenose plecos in and rams and stuff. So good opportunity for someone if you're looking for some projects. Some little firemouths. Again, this is quite a popular cichlid in my local fish shops, the fish shops that I've been going to. Seen a lot of them about at the moment. And yeah, like I said, this shop does have a lot of American cichlids in. I've been a couple of times before, and same again. Some more Salvini. These are not bred by him. These were something that he got from his suppliers. Electric blue Acaras. I wouldn't really have these again myself, but I have kept them before, and I have bred them way back, long time ago. But again, a good amount of fish to choose from. And all the tanks were heavily stocked, to be fair. They were really heavily stocked. There was a lot of, obviously I keep drawing on about American cichlids, but there was a lot of choice with other stuff in there as well. Some nice discus, a couple of tanks of really nice discus. These are near the door as you go in on the right, but they're quite nice. I mean, I really do like the discus. I do like looking at the discus. It's not something that I'd keep, but I agree that, when you have a tank of them, especially a really nice planted tank, they do look epic. Tinfoil barbs, these will grow big, guys. These are a monster fish, so always make sure you've got big tanks or ponds before you buy a fish like this. These are skittish as well, so if you don't want them hitting the sides of your tank, if your tank isn't big enough, or your indoor pond, should I say. And then I just thought I'd show you some of the barbs and the tetras, because they had loads and loads and loads of them. In my opinion, I do like this shop, and like I said to you, we was welcomed really well and looked after, and yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the better shops. And like, see, if you look closely, you can see some T-bar cichlids, some Sajika in that tank as well, and just more barbs and tetras. More tetras, these, aren't they? So you've got a really good choice, to be fair. Some more barbs. Again, I mean, there was tanks and tanks of tetras and barbs in the shop, but along with a lot of cichlids, and there was some oddballs as well. Gouramis, more barbs. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even film everything. Some nice chocolate cichlids. These were nice, actually. They were a nice little colour already. I think they were showing a bit of nice, they looked really nice fish, these. They were I'd say they were probably about 3 inches in size. A lovely South American cichlid as well. And these Festae, the red terrors, these were a decent size. And honestly, these are not something that you see all the time in a fish shop, especially at this size. So I have messaged a couple of people about these. I know there's a couple of people that are really interested in getting some Festae. So I have passed this on. And this video, when it goes out, it was about 3-4 weeks ago when I went to the shop. So apologies if you see them and they've gone. Some golden sevs. I do love a sev. I'm not, I would say the golden sev is not one of my favourites, but still all the same, it's a really bright, nice coloured fish. But they are lovely, don't get me wrong. I love, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know I love a Severin. And the gold Saum, the Andinoacara rivulatus. I think these look like they were being quarantined, if I'm being honest with you. There were a couple that are a bit battered, so yeah, there's obviously a couple of dominant ones in there maybe. But again, I prefer the Stalsberg, as you know. And then I was saying before, there is some oddballs in the shop. So there is some biches, bikers, whatever it is you call them. I've heard these fish called so many different, the name pronounced so many different ways. But these were lovely. I do like these. I like watching them in other people's tanks, if that makes sense. And then some Denison barbs. I like these as well. If I was to keep barbs, this would be the one that I kept. I would definitely love a show of these. But again, you need a big tank. This is a barb that grows to a decent size. So anyway, I said at the beginning of the video, there was some bonus footage. And the owner took me around his warehouse, which is attached to the shop. And there was just glass everywhere. And there was a lot more tanks. So the reason I've put this section of the video up is because if you are looking for a tank, when you go to the shop, there is so many more tanks in the back. So if you don't see the size you want, you can ask, and I'm sure they will have that size. And then he want to say a massive thank you because he supplied me free of charge with all the sand for my new tanks. And if you look, that's how he does it. He's got his own where he bags them himself. So he does a lot of his own stuff. And then this amazed me. Don't ask me why I was amazed by this, but I was amazed by the amount of buckets in this shop. So just panning round, but I'll take you in a minute to the buckets. There was thousands and thousands of buckets. These blue buckets, there was loads of them, honestly. And you can buy these, they're about £3.50, I think. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this video up now. I'm sure you'll agree that it's a fantastic shop and there's loads going on. And if you want a tank and you're in the UK, especially the Northwest, I'd advise you go. But I just want to say a massive thank you for all your support. It does mean the world. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. It's just a click of the subscribe button, ping the bell for notifications. That is me, and I'll see you all on the next one.